you're not doing these 3 variation kicks, then you're really holding yourself back on your kicking game when it comes to kickboxing. And hopefully you've been watching my videos about kicks, roundhouse kicks in Muay Thai, because I've showed variations of it, like the switch kick and the roundhouse kick. But there are 3 types of kicks depending on fight situations that you need to trick your opponent to be able to beat them in competition or sparring. And today, I'm going to show you those 3 variation types of kicks. Alright guys, my name's Chris. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Sicat Kickboxing Club. And if you haven't done so yet, guys, if you've been following me for a while, subscribe to my channel, like this video if you get good value out of it, and share it with your friends that want to learn the art of kickboxing. Usually these techniques that I teach are great with doing partner drills, and I have some videos of that, so go check that out. I also run a martial arts podcast that I think will bring a lot of value to your kickboxing game, or whether you do jiu-jitsu, wrestling, just pure MMA, boxing, any types of combat sports. So go ahead, check that out. I'll click the link down below and comment in whatever you want to see, what kind of videos you want to see, or what you think about these videos that I'm making. So get right into it. So like I mentioned before, I've taught you how to do the roundhouse kick in Muay Thai to where you're literally pretty much turning your body over, right? I'm gonna show it first here, where you're turning your body over, okay, like that. So when I kick, I'm facing you, I'm facing towards you to add more power to it. And then I'm stepping here, right? And then I'm pretty much cutting the bag in half. Now, that's a great kick, and it's your regular powerful Muay Thai roundhouse kick. But the other 2 that I'm gonna show you is going to be depending on what the other guy does as far as like a fight situation, depending on the situation. So the first one that I want to mention was just that. It's the powerful Muay Thai kick where you kick up with your knee, right here, where you kick up with your knee going up first, and then at the last minute, you turn it over, right? You don't want to go too wide first because it takes a lot of time to do that. You want to go sharp with your knee going up and then turning it over the last minute. So I'll show you here on the camera. I'm gonna go knee up, you see that? And then I'll turn it over the last minute. That's your sharp Muay Thai kick. That's very, very powerful. That's like my go-to because it goes straight to the body. It's not too wide, so your opponent can't really see it coming. But I'm going to talk about the other 2 that I use a lot, depending on how they block, how the other person kind of backs up, or how the other person reacts to my kicks or my movements, okay? So the second kick that I want to show you is actually the wide kick that I was telling about that takes a lot of, it takes more time than the sharp kick that I just mentioned in this video. So with the wider kick, the thing is about that kick is that it takes longer, but you actually get more power out of it because it's going wide. It creates a lot of velocity where it goes wide, and then it cuts them from a different angle. So what I mean by that is that, like I mentioned in the last kick, right? It's very sharp. That means there's not a lot of distance to go when you have your kneecap up and then turn the last minute. So look, it's literally a quick, powerful kick. But with this one, I'm going a lot wider on the angle over here, okay? A lot more angle over here. That's because that you want different variations of this kick, because they're gonna know that when you get more advanced, they're gonna know that you're going for that sharper kick. So they're gonna try to block your body, and if your shin hits their elbow, it could be bad for the both of you, but mostly bad for the kicker, because you're the one kicking. So it could really shatter like your shin bone, and it could just really, really hurt and take you out of the fight altogether. So what you wanna do is have different variations of kicks so that if the other opponent does block, if he tends to block, and then he's picking up on what you're doing, you have another option to go to. So with a wider kick, it's just that. You're going a lot wider than you are going sharper. So over here, before I get into it, this is actually how I used to kick, right? And this is how most beginners kick. They go wide because the sharp technique where you go up with your kneecap and turn it over the last minute is actually a more advanced kick. It's I guess you could say it's detail oriented to where your coach points it out after you've been kicking for a while. It's kind of like, okay, like for me, for instance, I'll show you the regular like Muay Thai kick, right? But when we start making adjustments, when you start getting good at your technique, and then your arms aren't flailing around, and then your technique looks good, like this, like okay, you have good form. Now I'll start to tweak your technique so that just as I mentioned, it's not so sharp going up to where it hits their elbow, but it's going wider, right? Again, so you have more options. So the wide kick, again, is just that. You're, again, stepping here, but you're gonna go a lot wider and you're not gonna have your kneecap up. You see that? Like I mentioned in the first one, you have your kneecap up and turn it the last minute so that it's nice, quick, sharp, and powerful, right? That's a sharp kick. But on a wider angle kick, you're literally going over right here, right? Over here. And plus, it makes it great for head kicks, right? If you're gonna set up a head kick, don't throw it naked, meaning don't throw it without any punches to set up, and just throw the wide angle because it is a risky move and it takes time for your leg to get back and for you to get balanced again, okay? So this kick, just as a warning, since it does take more velocity and distance to reach your opponent, it's going to be a lot riskier, right? Because he has more time to react. You need your leg to come back to get balanced and then get back on defense. So be mindful when you're throwing this kick and be mindful what you set up with this kick to hit your opponent, okay? So let's say for this kick, like I said, I'm going to go wide angle. My kneecap's not going to go up, but it's going to go wide. So going this way. You see? It's going a lot wide and it takes more time. I'm gonna do it again, okay? Over here. See how my leg is literally looping over here? Almost kind of like a question mark kick, but not really. It's just a looping kick to get past their elbow and maybe to hit their shoulder so that it hits their head. Or maybe their upper body, or maybe you just want to trick them, right? Because if you kick enough, if I'm doing sharp kicks, they're gonna expect that. So now I have to go to a different variation of kicks, so where it lands at a different spot. Okay. So if I'm doing a sharp kick, it's gonna land maybe around here in their body. If I'm doing the wider angle kick, it's gonna land more up top, right here. Okay. So I'll do it one more time for you guys. Okay. I'm gonna compare. This is a sharp kick. My kneecap's going up, turning over the last minute, okay? Right? Nice and quick, but very, very powerful since you're turning it over and you're chopping the bag in half. But that's the same thing with the second variation kick, the wide angle kick. It takes a lot longer, but it's also very powerful because you're turning it over at the same time. It's just a lot wider. See? It's a lot higher. Takes more time, a lot higher, but you can really trick your opponent if you mix up those kicks, okay? So the third variation of the kick is going to be what's called a tabletop kick. Now, we like our analogies in kickboxing and the combat sports world because it helps us to remember. And this tabletop kick, it's literally so. Picture a tabletop right here, okay? This is a table. And what you have to do is come around, go up, and then go horizontal, all right? So here's a table. Picture a table right here. Your leg is going to come up, right? And then slice through horizontally because you don't want to hit the table, right? So the best way to use this actual kick is that in Muay Thai, when they're kick checking, because Muay Thai, you pretty much get the highest points when it comes to kicks, right? So they're gonna be checking a lot, like this. Check my other videos. I have videos to do the check properly and kick counter with that. So the check, just to go over it before I show this kick, is that you're coming here, look. I'm like a wall, okay, when I'm checking, right? Look, you see that? But here's the thing, even though they're checking the kick, right? So yeah, I'm gonna do it here. Look, even though they're doing this, the arm is still, even though you're blocking like the wall, which is a good thing, the arm is still weaker than the actual shin, right? Your shin is very, very hard, but look, this arm is fragile, so kicks can still come through and like literally hit you in the face. It's a really hard wide angle kick or even a short kick. So what you want to do is that, again, you want to kneecap up, right? But then what you're gonna do is you're going to put your foot at a wide angle. So what I mean is almost like you're checking, but then you're going into a movement of a check like this. But all of a sudden, when you put your leg up, you're going to then slice the kick horizontally. So I'm gonna show you what I mean. So look, I'm here, I'm gonna put my knee up, you see that? And then I'm gonna cut through. Now, it takes a little bit of balance to do that, but with all the techniques and the different moves that you're doing, like the teep, right? Say the teep, if you're teeping, look, you need balance for that too, because you're literally standing on one leg. So if you've been doing all these moves and been practicing your whole skill set of Muay Thai just in general with punches and kicks, especially kicks, teeps and checks, right? With checks, you're literally standing on one foot, right? So you need good balance. At first, when you first do it, it's gonna feel weird because you have to find the balance within your body dexterity, right? And then you're gonna be tipping over because you don't quite know that yet. But when you get used to it, you can literally stand like that forever. So with the tabletop kick, going right into it, is that it's like a check-like move. So you want to lift up and then come around. You see that? So from this camera, look, you want to lift up and then come around, right? So you're literally trying to avoid the tabletop. That's why it's a tabletop kick. You're going over the tabletop. So you come up, horizontal, then you're slicing through. So again, that's for fighters when they check, right? If they do this, you have to clear this leg, wherever leg that they're checking with. So if I do a switch kick, they're gonna be checking right here. If I do like my rip kick, they're gonna be checking right here, right? You have to clear this leg. That's why if I kick, I'm coming around, going up top, and then I'm hitting here. If I hit you here with a clean tabletop kick, that's not good because your arm, even though you block it, your arm's gonna hurt really, really bad if I land it. Because like I said, right here, you're blocking it, that's good. It's good for the judges, but you're still gonna be hurting. You could even break your arm, right? If it's a strong enough kick. So with a tabletop kick, again, I'm gonna stick my leg out, and then I'm literally cutting across. Okay? I'll do it in real time now, okay? Look. Up. See? Watch. Up. Like that, right? There's like a certain torque to it when you start putting your leg up for the check. Okay? And I'll do it on this side too. Right? So I'll pretend like I'm checking here, or not. I can just put my leg up here. Look. See? Now, again, be careful with this move because you have to have the dexterity, right? You have to have like a little bit of the flexibility, but that's gonna come with it since you've been ripping out all these kicks on my other videos. So check those out, okay? See, look, I'm gonna lift this leg up, right? And come across. Just again, so that I'm clearing in case someone checks, which means trying to block my kicks, I can go over that, all right? One more time for that. Okay. See? So, just to go over it, those are the three main kicks that I use. Like literally, the sharper one, the sharp kick that I talked about in the beginning, your regular average Muay Thai roundhouse kick, is what I do the most because it's the quickest. To me, I've done it so many times that like as far as technique, I can do it to where it's minimal movement and it's very, very powerful. Like I said, the other two kicks, they're very powerful as well. It's just you have to use it depending on the actual situation. All right, I'll go over to each one time. So look, sharper kick, kneecap up. You're literally not giving too much space. It's not a wide angle, so it travels a lot faster and it's a lot of a sharper kick. Okay, so here, look, nice and quick. All right, and then right back. So with a wide angle kick, I'm going wider over here, maybe to land, to slip, land on their shoulder, and then eventually, hopefully land on their head, okay? So here's a wide angle kick. I'm just looping, pretty much looping around. Look. Same way, step, right? It's like a head kick. You're literally going for a head kick with that wide angle kick. And then the last one, tabletop kick, up, horizontal, okay? You're trying to clear the table, all right? Trying to clear the table. So look, I'm gonna do this motion, and then up, okay? In real time, right? In fast motion, it's hard to see it, right? Between the details, but that's why I explain, like, it's kind of a check and then you're clearing. Because if you do it fast enough, all of them kind of look the same, but again, it's the small details that matter, okay? So again, go table, top, check. In real time. All right. So yeah, guys, just as a reminder, before you do these other two variation types of kicks, work on the first one first. Make sure you have the dexterity to do the first one, because these other two are pretty difficult if you don't have, like, I guess, the mobility in your hips, your legs, your glutes to be able to do that kick. So it's better just to start off with the sharper kick, just because that you don't have to loop all the way around. You don't have to stretch that far, right? Like, it's a sharp kick, it's going to the body. You don't have to raise up all that much. And yeah, it's just really nice and fast compared to the tabletop where you have to literally stick your leg out and then go horizontal, or the wide angle to where you gotta go up high. All right? All right, guys. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of this video. I've been doing kickboxing. If you're new to the channel, I've been doing pretty much kickboxing my whole life, but I do everything. I do MMA, jiu-jitsu, any combat sports. And yeah, check out the podcast. I talk to a lot of high-level martial artists, from practitioners or to just hobbyists, and you can get a lot of value out of that if you're really trying to learn the art of martial arts. And it's also a self-improvement podcast just to improve your life. So don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you got value out of it, only if you got value out of it, and share this to someone that wants to learn the art of kickboxing. It really does build your self-esteem, confidence. It teaches you self-defense, which I know a lot of you guys watch this channel for, and I'm happy to teach it because you know what? It's very internal. Self-defense is very, very like a internal self-confidence. You gain a lot of self-esteem, and it's not just about just fighting, right? You feel better about yourself, you feel more healthier. It snowballs into other things like eating right and all that. So comment down below, let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what else you'd like to see, and I'll see you on the next one.